Brad Holmes has built himself an offensive line that's one of the best offensive lines in all of football, and we dominated at the line of scrimmage, both running and passing, and it really made our offense look good, gave Jared Goff plenty of time to throw the football and the weapons to get open. Just that's how it works, folks, when you build a great offensive line, and thanks to Brad Holmes for doing that. But guess what? Brad Holmes is building the same thing on the defense. He's building himself a impactful defensive line, just like the offensive line, building through the trenches and trying to become a powerhouse. So in this video, I'm going to tell you why the Lions are going to have a monster scary defensive line and how it's going to impact the Lions in up-and-coming season. Let's go. First off, the Detroit Lions already got some good players here, and the rookies that we did have, the young players that we did have, grew up in the second half of the season. We're talking about Aidan Hutchinson, one of the better players in the NFL at the edge position and the best one in the rookie class. You just start to turn it up at the end of the year, getting after the quarterback. Now, Brad Holmes drafted him because we were poor at that the year before. He wanted to get better at the line of scrimmage, and so him in his second year is going to be much improved. Obviously, you got James Houston, came out of nowhere, 6th-round pick. He's going to be in his second year, and it's going to really help the Lions get after the quarterback. It's going to help immensely. You know, in the first half of the season, we didn't see him. He comes in, just imagine the impact he's going to have from day one next year. I do believe the Detroit Lions bring back Isaiah Buggs, good rotational player, and he showed some flashes this season. Romeo Okwara, if he's here, and I do believe he will be here, he'll have all season. He's not going to be injured. He's going to be starting. It's going to be huge for the rotation at the edge position, having him make an impact alongside Aidan Hutchinson and, of course, Aleem McNeil, the stuffer in the middle. Year 3, and he continues to improve. Also, Levi Onwuzurike potentially could come back. Now, I'm not holding my hat on it. Could come back, though, for sure. So, if you look at just the players right now that they got, they're getting better and better and better. And we've seen it in the games, sacking the quarterback. So, they're going to go from where they are at the end of this season, starting from week 1, making the defensive line far more improved next year than it is when the year started from this past season. And that's what Brad Holmes wants. He wants this defensive line to be scary because in the NFC North, you got to win the old school way. What do? You get after the passer and you protect the passer. Stop the run, run the football. Starts with the defensive line, but see, it's not over with Brad Holmes. We have a 6th overall pick. We have other draft picks, too. Later in the first round at pick 18 and 2 second-round picks. The odds are the Lions going to take a defensive line. I think they take one at 6. And there's plenty of talent that's going to be available there for the Detroit Lions, taking a defensive lineman at pick 6. You can get Tyree Wilson, an outstanding edge rusher, who's an outstanding edge rusher. He would help the defensive line in a big way. You got players like Brian Brzee. You got Miles Murphy. You got these players that the Lions can go ahead and look to get in the draft. And that's just the first round. Second rounds. They're building a scary defensive line. And if they do get a player at pick 6, pick 18, or one of those second-round picks, that's a defensive lineman, edge rusher, interior, whatever you want to go, whatever he wants to go, it's going to really elevate this defensive line to the next. Oh, and I forgot, Joshua Pascal. Currently, he didn't start the season off due to injury, and he's going to have a full season back. Brad Holmes is building a rotation of defensive linemen to get after it. And that's how you win the game. That's how you win, is through defensive line. And we're going to have a young, talented group that's going to be able to sack the quarterback, and it should elevate the play of the linebackers as well. When you have good linemen, it makes it easier for the linebackers. When you have good linemen, it makes it easier for the secondary. Also, you get turnovers that way when you're rushing the passer. Who the Lions got to face in the NFC North? Justin Fields, unproven right now as a quarterback that can pass the football. I know a lot of people are in love with him, but he's done really poor in the passing game. Could he get better next year? Absolutely. But having a defensive line attack this guy, going to make him throw more interceptions. Aaron Rodgers will even be back for the Green Bay Packers. I have no idea. Probably. He's on the downward trend. These guys will get after him. Force interceptions by Kirby Joseph. Kirk Cousins, we already went after him. We'd have probably the most dominant offensive line in football. Definitely the best in the NFC North. And you could have the best defensive lineman in the NFC North and one of the better ones in all of football. They travel. The lines, the trenches travel. That's how you win games on the road and in the cold. That's what Brad Holmes is doing here. And you acquire talent at that 6th pick, more talent. Scary. Absolute scary. Maybe they go in free agency and pick up another defensive lineman. That's how the Detroit Lions will win in 2023. We got the money for free agency. We definitely got it good enough for the draft. All the people that said we need to build through the trenches, you're going to get your wish this year. And they're going to be able to just do swarms of linemen coming at you. And there's one thing I loved about the Coach Schwartz era. One thing I agreed with him fully. Waves of linemen. Waves. So in the fourth quarter, not everybody's tired because you're consistently putting new players in, and it's resting players so you can still be dominant in the fourth quarter. That's what Lions are doing here. It's going to be waves of linemen, waves of pain. If they get another lineman, which I do believe, so I think we all believe they probably go defensive line with one of the first 2 picks. You could have one of the best, youngest rotation defensive lines in football. You could. With the experience that the rookies got this year, elevating their status next year, and bringing in players from the draft who's very good at smashing QBs and stopping the run, by the way. That's a part of it. Lions will have a chance, no doubt about it, to win the NFC North. 100%. Because it will force turnovers. It will force the quarterback to throw early. You get sacks. You get turnovers. And you got a secondary who capitalize on those turnovers. The Lions could have, they should be favored, especially I feel like this, if they should be favored to win the NFC North if they get another lineman and they build this defense, which we all believe they will. Brad Holmes is getting it done, folks. He's getting it done. I mean, look at these guys. Can you imagine one of these dudes on this defensive line? Ferocious. Monsters. Used to be called Monsters of the Midway, Chicago. No. Monsters of Motown. That's what it will be. Hashtag smash the quarterback. They're building it, folks. They are. Brad Holmes is doing his thing, and you should be extremely excited for the Lions' future. I am. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Trying to get to 6,000 subscribers. Make sure you hit that notification bell, all of that lovely stuff. With that said, folks, adios.
Perfect.